Show the Piper. And now we'll head on to the interview with the Vice President of Liberia. It's a fantastic morning in Monrovia, Liberia. We're blessed to be seated with a role model, a woman who inspires a lot of women all around the world, the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, Honorable Ambassador Jewel Howard Taylor. It's nice to spend this time with you, ma.
Thank you. Thank you for visiting our country during this important celebration of our nation's history. And it's an honor to have this occasion to spend with you.
Thank you so much, Ma. You inspire a lot of us women all around the world. How did you rise to this position politically?
Well, it hasn't been easy. One of my friends who's a pastor always says people see the end result, the glory when you have arrived at an important place, and they don't see the journey. Of course, the journey is tough, especially for women. I've found myself in a purely male-dominated field of politics, and it's a field that is guarded jealously by the men. And so as you climb the ladder and you try to make your input, it's not as easy as it seems. And today I'm the first female vice president of my country, and it's been more than 20 years of working, of engagement with women leaders across our country, of providing support to young girls, inspiring them along the way. But when you get to a place like the National Legislature, I've had opportunities to be part of very significant laws. A few days ago, we were able to sign finally the domestic violence bill, and it took 5.5 years of talking, of cajoling, of trying to convince the men that women needed their rights. We're in a new paradigm where we are expected to have equality, but of course we don't. And so when you get to a level like this, it's still a hassle, it's still a struggle, it's still a fight for space, for voice, for influence. And they don't make it easy because they let you know that, you shouldn't be here in the first place, and you should be maybe doing something else. But I realized early on that politics and the legislature are entwined in such a way to provide benefits for our people. As the first branch of government, all the laws are made here. The budget is approved here. And so I know this is the place of maximum influence. How do you get benefits for the people you serve? How do you ensure that the promises you make during the campaign are fulfilled? And just jostling with the male factor here has been very difficult. But again, you don't give up. You have to keep walking and keep doing what you do, because I know many, many, many women and many young girls aspire to be whatever they want, and when they see a woman walking in spite of the stones that are being thrown, when they see her walking in spite of the insults, they see her walking with her head high in spite of the challenges she faces, it inspires others. Because again, we must not be deterred. We must have many more women at that level, so that one day our hopes and aspirations as women will actually be on the front center of the discussions of our country. We have not yet gotten there.
Okay, so what challenges have you faced as a woman politically?
Social challenges. Again, this is a male-dominated field, and so you will get a lot of insults. Everything you do is under the microscope, and you dare not make a mistake or slip. Then it is expanded 1,000 times, and the men might make some of the same mistakes and no one bothers. But once it's a woman, every little thing makes a difference. So you're always under immense pressure. You have to think about something 20 times before you do it. What would it look like? What will people say? How does it impact your constituency? Is it good for your country? So the second thing is that pressure. You're always under pressure. The third thing is that you have to work 10 times as hard as the male factors. because people expect more from you. And so you're up early. You have to be in your office till late. If you want something done, you have to lobby on and off the floor. You have to make friends. And the men will, bring that issue and throw it on the floor, and the men will say, okay, this man wants it, let's support it. Once a woman brings an issue up, then it becomes, well, why does she want it? What is it important? So you have to work hard. And in doing that, some things really fall off the table, especially family and children, which is the saddest part of the job that we do. Another challenge is, how do we continue the fight for women's liberation, for women's empowerment, for women's equality? We now have many laws that speak to the fact that we should be equal. In fact, our Constitution calls for equal representation. But the truth is that there is not equal representation in any sphere. In fact, since Madam Ellen Sirleaf left as president, we've lost women in many places. And if a woman is in a place and she's replaced for some reason, transferred, removed, moves on, instead of looking for another competent woman, most times what happens is that they will find a man to replace her. So we are losing space. In the Liberian Senate of 30 men, we now have only 1 woman. So you can imagine, 2006 we were about 8. Today there's only 1 woman left. So systematically, women are being challenged. And again, what happens on the political field is that you become a senator or a representative as a woman. And people expect so much. So everyone is looking at you with a triple microscope in your constituency. Of course, the women, if you don't do something that they want, or if you can't afford to do it at the time, then you make more enemies. So when you get to a point where you need to go back for re-elections, then they bring out a whole lot of issues. So the challenges are many. Of course, you have even family challenges. The children will wonder why mommy is always advocating for something else or someone else. Where is she when we have graduations and babies are born and we have family celebrations? Or where is she when I just need a shoulder to cry on? So that pressure too from the family can be very, very, very serious. So I think those are some of the few challenges that I can name right off the top of the bat.
What you said finally brings us to the next question. How do you balance family and professional life as a politician?
I know I found that to be very difficult, because the time that you have to put in to be accepted first, for your voice to become something people respect, for your voice to be a voice that is not an echo, so that whenever you speak, people know that you're speaking at the national level and you're speaking on behalf or for things that are beneficial to your country. It takes a lot of time. By the time you subtract that from your week, you find out that there is very little time left for family. I know many days I get home and I just want to crawl into bed. Sundays are usually the lightest days that I have, but then sometimes there are other programs to attend and you have to visit other churches. It's really tough. Balancing a political life, and I know in other sectors it might not be as difficult, but I know in the political sphere it is very, very, very difficult. Unfortunately, family members suffer as a result. What helps is that on the African continent there are always alternative mothers, aunts, older cousins, but it still doesn't fill the space that the mother, the mother puts in. Especially if you were not a politician earlier on and you've become one in the later part of your life, when your children are going through their crisis, teenage crisis or whatever is going on. If you are not there, then it really sinks a hole in the hearts of the younger children, and I find that to be very tough. But then again, people have to make sacrifices. The men can do it without any qualm, because of course the mothers are home. The mother is supposed to take care of the family. So when the father is out and the mother is a politician, then you have a family that's really left on its own, and that's the choice people must make depending on what you want to do. What is the greater impact? I think those of us who have the fire for political work, the fire for transformational systems, the fire for creating systems that have to be bigger and better than what we made it, then that sacrifice is a really great one.
Rachel the Piper.